We're just going to wait a couple of minutes, or let's make it one until everybody is here. Just give them a chance. There will be a poll soon in our chat. Would love for you to fill it out. Yeah. There it is. How satisfied are you with the current use of data in your recruitment operations? So if you have an opinion about that or want to share your opinion, feel free to fill it out. Okay, 25. Let's wait a little bit longer. Okay, I think we can slowly start with the introductions.
Yes.
So, hi everybody, welcome, and thank you for joining the webinar, How Talent Acquisition Teams Use Data to Earn Stakeholder Confidence. Today we're going to dive into this topic. Maybe let's start with introducing us so you know who will be the speakers today. My name is Diana Palstra. I'm Customer Success Manager at Start. I work on a daily basis with customers, with companies on their candidate experience data. And I'm here today with Matthias and Thijs. Matthias, maybe you would like to say a few words?
Sure, thank you, Diana. So I'm Matthias. I joined SmartRecruiters earlier this year as a customer success manager, supporting some of our customers who use our ATS and some of our products. I started my career as a recruiter, did both agency and in-house recruiting. So hopefully I can give some insights due to my experience.
Nice, thanks. And Thijs?
Yes, thank you. My name is Thijs Wanders. I work at Boskalis. Basically, my role is the role of corporate recruiter, where I also, of course, focus on hire the right candidates, the right talent for our company. But besides that, I'm also busy with the recruitment analytics. And I was asked today to share some tips and tricks on how we, within our recruitment team in Boskalis, convert all the data to some data insights that we share with HR, our team, and the business, to gain stakeholder confidence and also to improve. So I hope that I can share some valuable information with you guys today.
Yes, well, I think you will. And this is the team that is going to do the webinar today. So also good to know that we will add our LinkedIn pages in the chat. So feel free to connect. We would love that. And also for any questions afterwards, feel free to reach out. Regarding the agenda of today, we'll just quickly walk through that. We're going to cover data is power, the key metrics in recruitment analytics, qualitative approach, so understanding the candidate to understand the full story, using the right tools, so how to get the data you need, building effective reports, examples of data in practice, and driving innovation, so the real-life benefits of data-driven recruitment. We're coming with some examples here and there to give it a good full story. So first, I'm liking to give the word to Matthias, who's going to share a bit about data and storytelling.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. As mentioned, I will be speaking about the data you can use and how it can be built into a narrative. So basically, there are obviously lots of different data points that you can use, that you can look up. Some can be time to hire and time and step, which are often used in TA and which can mostly be influenced by TA as well. There are obviously lots of other data points like unfinished application rates and offer acceptance rates and cost per hire and so many more, which are often then more influenced by business decisions. Once you have your basis and which data you want, you need to drill down further into the data. So if you know your time to hire and if you know your time in step, what does that actually mean? Is your time to hire long, or is it in the realm that you want it to be? Are there certain steps within the hire process which take longer than others? All this you need to drill down into, and then you need to see which data you can access, how deep can you go, can you drill down into specific departments or even into individual processes to see whether there might be an issue somewhere. What are the factors that really influence the data that you have? So for the time to hire and time and step, we already discussed. But then if we talk about the other aspects like unfinished application, offer rejections, these are often topics that need to be discussed with marketing. Or what is the offer rejection reason? This is something that you discuss with the candidates. That is not something that can come up in a dashboard or anything. So there are lots of different ways to get your data and lots of different data points that you can take. Once you have all your data, how do you then process it in order to get to a point where you can build a narrative? So you've probably gone into your data analysis with a hypothesis. You were thinking, this process is taking too long. We're getting feedback from managers or from candidates that the process is taking too long. So you have a hypothesis, usually. Write this down so you can build on it and that you can build your case around it. Once you have your hypothesis, see which data you have that supports that case. If it's supported by your data. And sometimes you have a hypothesis and the data doesn't support it, and then you maybe need a new hypothesis. But once you have the hypothesis, drill down into the data, as I mentioned, and find which data is relevant to your case that you're building so you can present it to the business. You really need to know your data because you will be questioned around it. You will need to have additional information if the questions come up, which maybe you haven't presented. You also need to be able to visualize it so that it's not just an Excel spreadsheet that you're giving your business, but sort of have a visualization to show which step takes the most time or which hiring process takes longest, stuff like that. Ideally, you have a system in place which can provide all the data. So you have an ATS which provides the data for you, where you can look up the data yourself. You don't have to go through a system administrator or an external partner. And then you can use additional tools like Start to cross-pollinate the data. So you have your own data on time and step, but what do the candidates say? What do the hiring managers say? Use that data from other sources that you can get from other tools. So you have a whole ecosystem of tools that can help you with the data provision and the data analysis. And then once you have all that, you can go to the business and present your case.
Yeah, so thank you, Matthias. I think that's a very good segue to me taking over. So what Matthias is saying is true, that Start can be addition to that, adding more to your data, because yes, SmartRecruiters and other ATSs, it's like hard data in some way, and Start is really trying to discover the why behind it. We're doing that by looking at all the stages of the candidate journey. So every part of the journey, we're trying to assess whether, like, to gather the candidate feedback, to understand what are they saying. We're thinking it's very important to look also at the rejected stages, because that is mainly where the feedback is, candidates are dissatisfied, and that is the moment where they're trying to go to a Glassdoor or a Reddit and leaving negative feedback, and that can harm your employer brand, and that can definitely therefore also harm your hiring process. Matthias, he mentioned already time to hire and time in step, and encouraging candidates to give feedback or to at each stage of the allows to pinpoint the reasons and understanding why the time to hire is perhaps too long. To give an example, one of our customers, Deliveroo, they managed to identify certain and concrete pain points and points of improvement through the candidate feedback. And with the learnings, they managed to reduce their time in interview process by around 30%. And they did that because they took the key learnings and they changed they created some rules, I would say, to establish internal guidelines on a stricter interview timeline. And this had a direct impact on the time to hire. So we collaborate with a lot of different ATSs, such as SmartRecruiter, to dive deeper into the why. Okay, so now I just explained a bit the why, right? Why, we're diving deeper into the data, but then we're also working with the NPS, the CNPS, which is the Candidate Net Promoter Score. And that is, of course, it's calculated by asking a very simple question. Based on your experience, how likely is it that you would recommend someone else to apply to your company? And then we're working with detractors, passives, and promoters. The detractors are the people that are dissatisfied about the process and are prone to tell their friends and family not to apply to your company. The passives are the one that are somewhere in the middle, and the promoters are your ambassadors that are telling their friends and family, like, hey, go apply for the company. And it's been calculated by distracting the percentage of promoters from the percentage of detractors, and then you get a number on a scale from -100 to a +100. And then, of course, you have a very nice number somewhere in the middle. But then, of course, you would like to know, is it good or is it bad? And for that, we have a yearly benchmark report in which we accumulate the average number among different stages in a report to sketch a bit how other companies are doing. So you can understand, are you doing a good job? Or maybe you need some improvement here and there. This is a screenshot out of it. And here you can see that rejected after assessment has a -26 NPS. And for obvious reasons, the hired candidates, they're scoring quite high on the CNPS. And to enrich the numbers, you can see, of course, now you have the number, you understand whether it's good or bad, but it's more interesting probably to go even deeper into it, right? To look at the journeys and see, okay, what is going well and what is going bad. So you can see here again that the sentiment on hired, it's quite good. But more interestingly, on the right side, you see the topics that are discussed in the comments. So the candidates that are giving you, are rating you, they're speaking a lot about process, feedback, communication, and recruitment team. So by diving deeper and deeper into the data, you are going deeper into the key learnings and you find ways to, get better. This is just to quickly show that we have been speaking a lot about the candidates and the why behind that, but it's also very interesting to understand that it's not only about the candidates. We also want to understand that the whole team is aligned. So you want to see how hiring managers are, for example, experiencing the talent, the recruiting team, the talent acquisition team. So we offer that as well. It's a little bit a different formulated question, but the principle is the same. And also we have a benchmark report for that to get a full picture of how your whole team is aligned. Yes, so I mean, me and Matthias, we told you a lot about hard data, the whys, and basically why it is important. I mean, probably very interesting, but I think you're probably more curious about what is next. We have the data, and how am I going to use it, and how am I going to get the most out of it? So Thijs, we would like to ask you some questions to bombard you with it, and to hopefully give some insights to the people here watching, how they maybe can do things better or get inspired.
Of course, go ahead. I'm all yours.
Okay, coming right up. I have a very beautiful list for that. Yes, this one. What does being data-driven mean for you in practice? What metrics are important to you in your day to day?
Basically what data-driven for our recruitment teams mean is that we strive to make the most decisions within our recruitment team based on data and insights and not on assumptions. We basically analyze the recruitment data, of course, with the goal of measure performance of the team or also on division level. We have regularly optimizing recruitment processing sessions. So basically the way of working and where do we want to improve. And the data insights also helps us with making strategic decisions about how do we spend our recruitment budget. So basically, where are we gonna post our marketing ads, which channel? But also for sourcing, we have an own sourcing department, and with the data insights, we can see, hey, which vacancies are hard to fill and high in volume. So basically, also to keep track and to decide, hey, where are we gonna focus on? But also for agencies, if we have with the data, we can see that in certain disciplines, it's very hard to attract the right talent. We, for example, say, we have a difficulty for whole Boskalis recruiting with recruiting the right finance candidates for the finance department. Then we partner up, for example, with a recruitment agency specialized in finance. And you also asked me about, what are the metrics that are important for our day-to-day work? So what we basically have is like a big dashboard with a lot of reports, also known as pivot tables. And we dashboard it in a way that we always have a good view on the open positions that we currently have. We have a big recruitment team. It's also very worldwide. So we have recruiters in Abu Dhabi, the UK, in Klaipeda, in the Philippines. And we always want to see, hey, what's happening? Where are we? So we want to see how many filled positions do we have also. To see we have a goal every year for every division on how many people we hire and are we still on track. Now, of course, the time to fill. So the average time it takes to get a vacancy filled in. Also, we measure the average days of a vacancy, how long a vacancy is open, how long does it take for a candidate when applying to being hired, and can we improve on that? Cost per hire is also something, because I already mentioned we analyze this also to make to be as efficient as possible, and that also means reducing costs. So once a year we calculate the cost per hire, and the source of hire is also something very important for us, also to decide where we put our marketing budget in. Do we see that we hire a lot more good candidates on campus activities, or is it especially that we have a lot of good candidates by Google Ads? Now, besides those usual metrics that the most people who work in the recruitment know, I think, we also use, of course, Start for our MPS to zoom in on a deeper level. Hey, how is our candidate and hiring manager experience on specific topics like how quick are we in the process? How well are we prepared? And that's not only the recruiter, but they also give feedback about the HR team. But also questions like, do we ask the right questions? Do they value our feedback after a phone screen or an interview? So that's basically that's what is data-driven means for us in the day-to-day business, and what are some key metrics.
Yes.
You've already talked about lots of different aspects, but could you share your 1 or 2 top tips that you could give to become truly data-driven?
1 or 2 tips. Basically, I would suggest that if you want to be data-driven within a recruitment department, you have to have the access also to qualitative data. And I think it all starts with a good ATS system, and, for example, also like different tooling to deep dive in it. So, for example, also Start. So I would invest in a good ATS system that would provide me recruitment analytics in the ATS themselves, or give you the opportunity to have the possibility to extract data. And we have that with SmartRecruiters, for example. We can extract a lot of data on candidate and vacancy level. And we have a very big dashboard with a lot of reports in Excel that we use to make the data insights. Secondly, I also would suggest to create a consistent routine within your recruitment department, because what I see is that a lot of recruitment departments are not very data driven, and in your day-to-day business, you just have to hire a lot of good candidates and you're busy with other things. So you have to create a routine where it's consistently the data is coming back. And for us, that means basically we report on it in the organization. So I will show that later. And we have sessions with the team about all the results of the data insights. And we have discussions and chats about the results. So that, I think that are the two key takeaways that I would give to a recruitment team that wants to start with talent analytics.
Thank you.
Thijs, I also have another question, and that is because, you have been talking about data, and of course, it seems like you're having a lot of data. How do you know what is important and what to focus on?
Yeah, that's always different because you always have a different audience. If I look at our company within Boskalis, there are three main stakeholders. So we have the recruitment team ourselves, where we don't only want like general key metrics, but we want to like deep dive in. So that's why the NPS, for example, is helpful. But for HR stakeholders, what can be in our company, HR directors or HR managers who want to know just the key metrics for their scope, their business units, and also for the business, we use different reports. And we also ask for feedback. Is this what you want to know? Because we look from it from a recruitment perspective, but maybe they also have like questions from another perspective. So always talk with the people you are reporting to, and ask the right questions. Do I present the things you want to know, or am I missing something? So I think that's very important. Just know your audience and always ask for feedback.
Nice. Thanks.
Great. And you seem like it, and we know that you're a very analytical person, but not everyone is. How do you make sure that the data you present is digestible for everyone?
Two main things. I think data visualization is very important. So not just drill up the numbers, but make nice infographics or presentations of the key takeaways with graphs and charts, because there's a lot of reporting in our organization. So people are more happy with just a one-pager with contextual explanation. What is the second thing I find very important? So data visualization in combination with contextual explanation. I think we also have a question where I gonna show our reporting routine, and then I can show you what does that mean, the two things of the data visualization, and always put a context to it to give a narrative around the data insights we have.
Yeah, because I think first maybe it's interesting to also understand, because you know what to do, right? You make nice reports. Do you have any examples of projects or ideas that you managed to?
I send them to the admin, and I think they're coming up now.
Okay.
I hope that everyone can see them. Yes. So basically, we do two things. We report on quarterly and annual basis. We do that with an infographic. That is what you're seeing here. And if you look to the infographic, you see, for example, that we share the numbers about the applicants. Do we have more applicants in a certain quarter or not? About the new colleagues we hire, but also about the NPS. But just sending out these numbers, it doesn't say anything. You have to have a narrative around it, because, okay, I can see that we had less applicants. Now, I always do like a simple deep dive. Why do we have less applicants this quarter? Now, then I can, for example, see in our data that last year around this time, we had like a very big recruitment needs in Abu Dhabi, where we have like a totally different labor market than in Europe. where we here always ask the question to ourselves, how can we attract the right candidates? Do the recruiters there have the question, how am I possibly going to screen all the applicants who are applying to this role and getting the right candidates out? So we know, for example, when we have more recruiting from the UA region, the applicants are also going to rise. We get a lot more applicants. And the same also counts, for example, with new colleagues. Why do we hire more colleagues this quarter than last quarter of previous year? And then also look into but we also had a bigger target, a higher target to, for example, recruit people within our offshore division. And also for the NPS score, we score higher on hiring manager level. Where does that come from? And then we just look into the comments. Okay, it's because we see that we already worked on one way of working, and now hiring managers are seeing that we all work in the same way. And they're happy about that, because on forehand, in the previous situation, one recruiter recruited in this way and another recruiter did it at a different procedure. So that are all things we share within a narrative. And basically, I think that's the next slide. Oh, no, that doesn't matter, but I also sent an email that we also show always and send with the infographic to share about every number that's on the infographic, just a little story, what's behind the numbers. So that's basically our infographic reporting routine. Now, that's for the whole organization. So it can be stakeholders within HR and can be stakeholders within the business where we give our recruitment services to. But we also do a quarterly and annual NPS review. That is just with the team to catch up on how are we doing within the recruitment process. Now, what you see here is an overall benchmark. I always do this as a little introduction, just to show the team where we are in different phases in comparison to other big companies who are also using Start. And what Diana already told. Now, you can see, for example, that candidates who have been rejected after interview have a quite good candidate experience in our company if you compare that to other companies. But this is just a small part. In the next slide, and that's something where I always focus more on within the quarterly reporting meetings. This is just one survey, just one step in the process where candidates have been rejected after interview. And it's just not only a number, but you can see on all the different topics where we improve or where we have aggravated. Now, I always do a deep dive in reading also the comments about the specific topics that we have been rated on, and then discuss with the team to see, hey, is this on a division level? Is this on a recruiter level? And how can we improve with each other? And because we do this like every quarter and also annually, you see that recruiters are accountable, and they are constantly aware about their NPS, and they are willing to put in the extra work.
Great. Thank you for all that. A lot of information to take in. We as recruiters often see our team struggling to demonstrate the value to the business, and it seems like we're being taken for granted. How have you been able to overcome that and get a seat at the decision-making table?
First, I want to say we are not totally there at every decision-making table, but if I look for the past 3.5 years within Boskalis, we quite make the transition to being a traditional recruitment department to a more talent acquisition team. And I think we need a slide up to show a picture about the differences, what it means for us. But basically, because we became data-driven, we now have the input that's also important for HR and the business for their long-term workforce planning. So basically, what we did with all the data insights is to create valuable input, and that they invite us a lot earlier in the process, where we usually only were involved in the recruitment process when a manager asked a new position and, okay, recruit right away, and we need this as fast as possible. Now we get a seat in the HR workforce planning. So we can also give their strategic input on how to fill in hard to fill vacancies, and also do a long-term planning, because we have data about how long is it going to take. Is this hard to recruit? How long does it on average take if we look in the organization to fill in this position within a specific discipline? So that's, I think, the biggest a good achievement of what data analytics have done for us.
Yeah. Thanks, Thijs. I think, it's very good and interesting insights and add-ons to the first part. We're already on time, so I would love to go through some questions popping in. If you have other questions, feel free to add to the chat. Most questions are for you, Thijs, so bear with me. Let me see. You see it too, but I can just read it out loud.
Yeah,
what are the key metrics and data insights that your team are expected to share at high level with the board to show the impact and value of recruiting to the business, other than internal operational recruiting data?
I think if I understand the question correctly, that's basically also the infographic with all the numbers. They don't want to be informed on a very deep candidate experience level, but they just want the key matrix and compare that to last year. So the infographic that I already shared is for like the whole organization. Everyone can look that up on our intranet and see just the key takeaways. But I don't know if that answers the question for, I think it was Ben.
No, this was Edward.
Oh, Edward.
Feel free if you need a more elaborate answer, but I will move to the question of Ben. Do you also track feedback from talent acquisition advisor on hiring managers? We've just started this and are beginning to see some interesting trends. Advisor scoring and hiring manager engagement lower leads to longer TTF.
No, at this moment we don't track feedback from our talent acquisition advisors on hiring managers. It's just basically they give feedback about our process. But maybe that's a step in the future that we also will do. But we are also busy with other things that we want to implement. For example, we are now busy with the quality of hire. You know about that, Diane, because I work together with you. But it's also important indeed to see what our recruitment department, how they experience the organization, and maybe give them also the feedback to improve, because we all work together. And what good is to see is that at this moment, in the surveys, when they get to the right stage, of course, and they get a survey where they also are being questioned, the candidates, about how they experience the HR team. So the offer, how was it? How was the offer presented? How were the communication and expectations? How was the engagement of the hiring manager or HR manager within the process? So we get a few overview, not about only recruitment, but also about HR and the business who are involved in our recruitment operation.
Yeah, I hope this answered your question, Ben. I would like to do one more, and other ones coming in, we can answer them through email. We will get back to you. But the last one, talking about future, how do you see AI shaping how TA teams interact with data in recruitment? For example, automated reporting and dashboards, predictive analytics, or candidate match scoring?
Now that's a good question, because on this moment we are also within Boskalis investigating the possibilities with AI. We are now researching a few tools. Now, one of the tools, for example, is the Smart Assistant we have in SmartRecruiters. And I think automated reporting, dashboarding, not yet, but I see futures of, for example, candidate scoring with all the candidates around our whole ATS system that can automatically be matched to other positions, because not every recruiter in, example, UK communicates about a silver medalist candidate from Abu Dhabi. And I think for score matching of candidates for all the vacancies and all the candidates we have in our ATS, yeah, it will be a very good tool. And also, yeah, within the data analytics, I think that if I now put a lot of data information in ChatGPT, they have a sharper analysis than I do. So I think also within predictive analytics, it should help us in the future. So we are also investigating that within Boskalis.
Nice. Matthias, is there anything you would like to share on this topic before we round it up, or?
I think Thijs has already said a lot.
Yeah.
I think, and my impression from within SmartRecruiters is that the aim to use AI is to help recruiters focus to be real talent advisors and not just CV pushers, let's say, to put it in a derogative term maybe. But it's not just sort of analyzing CVs. That can be done by an AI. Interview scheduling can be helped to get the process run smoother. So overall, I think the future and AI will help in making recruiters true talent advisors to the business rather than administrative employees.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, Thijs Edward, he he added something in the chat, but I think we're already quite a bit over time. So
They can always reach out to me if they have any further questions. I'm happy to.
I think feel free to connect, Thijs. Feel free to connect. I think, Thijs, you're happy to answer the questions and spar further.
Yes.
But thank you everybody for joining, and Thijs as well for answering all the questions. I think you enlightened a lot of people here with the insights you were providing, and I hope it was useful for everybody attending. Apologies, we're a bit over time, but yeah, thanks all, and enjoy the rest of your day.